Hey guys, Shahan here with Brawl Brothers, and in this video we're going to talk about the beautiful fight-ending shot that Canelo landed on BJ Saunders last weekend, and talk about a few things that you can do in training to help you land that shot yourself. If you haven't seen the fight, I do recommend going back and checking it out. It was a beautiful seesaw battle of boxing IQ. It's what happens when two intelligent boxers go against each other, and in this video we're going to talk about how Canelo came out the victor of that battle. Let's get to work. So by now you probably all know about the shot I'm talking about. I'm sure you've seen plenty of footage on social media, and it's that low uppercut that Canelo landed on Billy Joe Saunders while he was leaning in. Right, now there's three ways to land a punch. One is to just throw and hope that you land. Right, another is to set a punch up, which we talk about patterns on this channel all the time. Right, tricking your opponent into thinking you're doing something, getting him used to it, and then boom, tricking him. Right, that's one way to land a punch. And another is to observe your opponent, right? And that's exactly what Canelo was doing in the fight, and that's exactly what every high-level fighter does. So basically what you want to do is, what Canelo did was he watched Billy Joe all night. He watched his habits, right? And that's the danger of doing the same thing over and over again when you are in a long fight, right? Or when you're fighting a high IQ fighter. You don't want to constantly do the same thing over and over again. You want to switch things up. Right, so the mistake that BJ Saunders made was, and this was a smart move in the beginning of the fight, but he had to change the game up a little bit. So what BJ Saunders did, since he's a southpaw, right, what he would do is he would throw his right hook at Canelo, but having studied Canelo, he knew that every time he threw a punch, a counter was coming. So what he would do is he would throw the right hook and lean all the way out the way. Right, he would lean all the way out the way so that any counters would shoot right over the top. It didn't matter what punch was coming next because he was so low, right? When he threw that right hook, he would throw a right hook and then boom, get out of there, right? Smart move, but not if you keep doing it over and over again, right? So the first way that you want to land that punch that Canelo landed is to observe your opponent, right? See what his habits are. Maybe he's dropping that right hand when he's shooting that jab, right? That gives you an opportunity to slip, boom, come over the top, or just come over the top with that overhand. So observe your opponent. That's the first tip, right? You want to land a punch like that, you got to observe. Because what Canelo did was he saw that BJ Saunders leans out the way, and if you watch the footage, right, Canelo goes, he doesn't throw a regular uppercut, right? He gets out of the way, he pulls out of the way of that right hook, and then he comes back low. Right, almost if it was a shot to the body, it would almost be on the cup. Right, it was super low. He pulls back, and he comes back low with that uppercut, and that's how he caught him because he knew he was going to lean left after that right hook. Right, he knew he was gonna go and lean low, and so Canelo pulled back and shot that uppercut with incredible strength. It was a powerful, powerful shot, and you can see the way he was throwing the uppercut. It wasn't at an angle going up. Right, and if you actually see the footage or the images from the fight, there was no boxing fundamentals involved, right, in terms of keeping your hands up. And that's why I hate fundamentalists and when they leave those amateur comments, because you can tell there's guys that box for like 2 months and they don't know what it takes. Imagine if Canelo said, oh no, I can't throw that shot because I got to throw it perfectly and I got to keep my hand up the whole time, right? He would have never landed that fight-ending shot. In the fight, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but you got to have a level of mastery to be confident in pulling it off, right? So that's the one way, right? You observe your opponent and you look for the patterns that they have in the fight, right? What habits do they have? What mistakes are they making throughout the fight? It was a good thing that Canelo was doing, is getting out of the way of shots once he throws a shot, but he kept doing it the same way, and it allowed Canelo to land that shot, right? The second way that you want to land that shot, or that would help you land a shot like that, is drilling, guys. The George Foreman power punching drill that I tell you about all the time, that's the drill that Canelo uses to increase his punching power. And there's an actual video that was put together of Canelo drilling that shot and then him doing it in the fight. And he always drills for power. If you watch that video of him and Andy Ruiz where he's telling him, don't focus on speed, just focus on power and nail that overhand. Right? And that's what he does with his uppercut in training. That's what he does with his hooks in training. He has times where he's working on speed and when he's working on cardio and everything else. But he also dedicates specific amounts of time to just shooting power shots. Right? So What he does is always he's on the bag and he drills. He just goes boom, 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 right? And you want to drill those shots as well. You want to drill whatever shot every single shot that you have. You want to drill boom, boom, right? Train them for power, right? I'm not wrapped up, so I don't want to go all the way out. But you want to train for power, right? You want to drill that shot, and you see him drilling the uppercut constantly, and drill it with the defensive move, right? The way he landed that shot, he pulled, and then he shot that shot, right? He pulled, and then he shot that uppercut, right? So you want to do it the same way, right? You want to drill constantly. You want to drill different shots, right? Whatever shot that you want to train, you want to drill all of them, right? You want it to be on autopilot. He wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to do this next, because he didn't know what Canelo was going to throw next. What BJ Saunders was going to throw next. He knew that once the hook was coming, he's pulling out, and he knew BJ Saunders was going this way. Boom, right? And he caught him with that shot. And the only reason that happened is because he drills that constantly. That motion was fluid, it was perfect, and he was able to time him with that shot, right? All of that happens fast in the fight. So you got to be fast enough. And that's why you got to drill those shots, right? So that's the two ways. One is observe your opponent, and two, drill those shots, right? Canelo pulls back, and then boom, comes back with that uppercut, right? Boom, comes back with that uppercut. And you want to drill that motion. Boom, drill that motion. Boom, right? And I'm not saying just drill that shot. I'm saying practice everything like that, right? Make sure you have power on every shot. Make sure you're constantly putting defensive motions before every shot, right? That you're practicing defense as much as offense, and you're practicing power, you're practicing speed, right? Do all the drills that we talk about. I have a ton of heavy back drills that on this channel. There's a ton more coming, right? To help you improve different aspects of your game. Do those drills. Don't be lazy. Don't just hit the bag just for fun, right? It's fun to hit the bag mindlessly and just work your cardio and work up a sweat and feel like a badass walking out the gym. But that's not what's going to help you improve. It's not doing the thing that makes you better. It's deliberately practicing that makes you better, right? And that's what makes a guy like Canelo so special, is he's always improving. He's not just in the gym going through the motions. He's always improving his craft, and that's what you have to do. So you want to land a shot like that? One, learn to observe your opponent. Learn to observe the habits in the ring. Maybe next time you spar, make that a goal of yours. To just observe your opponent and try to find weaknesses, right? Find weaknesses, find patterns. Look at things that you could take advantage of, and mark them down mentally. How many were you able to find in that fight, right? So think about that the next time you spar. And two is drills. Drills, right? A shot like that only works if you constantly drill, right? Especially breaking somebody's face. You got to drill that power. You got to drill that motion. You got to be fast enough. You got to be strong enough. It's a combination of everything. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought about that fight, what you thought about that punch, and where you think Canelo goes next. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, hit all those like buttons and everything else to help this channel blow up. I'm Shahan with Brawl Brothers, and I'll brawl with you guys next time.